The movie that best embodies the direct-to-video sequel phenomenon. Today we're talking Lost Boys 2. We're talking about how the DVD technology made the straight-to-video sequel profitable. And we're going to talk about how Netflix killed that business model shortly thereafter. And eventually we'll talk about the movie Lost Boys 2. All that and more on today's show. Roll the song.
We all love the first one, but the second movie sucked. Trying to catch lightning in a bottle 2 times takes a lot of luck. Brian, Ted, and Dave are watching movies that are lame. These are the sequels that aren't equal.
Hello and welcome to Sequels That Aren't Equal podcast, the show that talks about beloved major motion pictures that get follow-up films that fall well short of the mark. Hello and welcome to today's show. I am your co-host, Brian.
I'm Dave. And I'm another co-host. My name's Tim.
And welcome to all 10 of our viewers.
Welcome.
Yeah. Welcome. Hi, Mom. And I am very proud to announce that we hopefully have worked out our audio situation this week. So hopefully this week you're hearing us a little clearer than you have in the past. If not, well, we'll get there. We'll get there. This is only like our 8th episode or something. So, all right, today we're talking Lost Boys 2, the 2008 follow-up to the beloved 1987 80s classic Lost Boys. First, let's talk about our connection to the original Lost Boys 1. Tim, this feels like a Tim kind of movie.
Oh, 100%. My take on the first one is there's a time in my life when I said Lost Boys is my all-time favorite movie.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. When I see that, oh, boy. This is right up my alley. We got vampires. We got Jamie Gertz.
Yes.
Who I think everybody's in love with, right?
Who I
Jamie
thought
Gertz
was like Ione Skye for the longest. So I checked my notes. I was like, oh, that wasn't Ione Skye.
Always got Ione Skye mixed up with like Jennifer Connelly and Phoebe Cates, you know? They all had that vibe.
Anyone mixed up with Jennifer Connelly?
True. She's a perfect 10. But, you know, when you're a little kid, you're just like, hot brunette. It's got to be the same girl. Yeah. But, yeah, the first one was amazing. The soundtrack, rocked me with Cry Little Sister. Probably one of the best soundtracks of all time, in my opinion. You got Cry Little Sister. You got, of course, The Doors in there. And then they threw in, you know, Tom Capiello. Is that his name? With the
shirtless saxophone player.
Yeah, he rocks. There should have been a law made in Hollywood at that time. Every movie must include a shirtless muscle guy playing the saxophone because that was a Sammy Sosa style, bottom of the ninth, bases loaded, down by 3, grand slam, home run. Tom Capello, I think is the name. I hope I'm saying it right. Don't beat me up with your massive upper body strength. But that whole scene right there, when they're at the carnival, and you see that guy playing the saxophone, the song rocks, you know, he's getting into it, you know. There's some gyrations, there's some pelvic thrust, you know, there's some of these right here, fist up in the air. I still believe. That scene was great. And, you know, of course, overall, the movie was awesome from top to bottom. And my favorite line from that movie, believe it or not, is when he talks about his favorite Superman comic and Corey Feldman, you know, before he went totally Corey Feldman, was, whoa, that's a serious comic. And that's like, anytime I talk about comic books, somebody brought up a comic book, I'd always say, whoa, that's a serious comic.
All right.
You know, that's my favorite line.
Oh, we'll get to Corey Feldman.
But yeah, I rented that often. You know, it's one of the first VHS tapes I ever bought was Lost Boys. Big fan. Point in day, I said Lost Boys, greatest movie of all time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
86, 87, 88, I was probably preaching it. Like I do Goodfellas, Boogie Nights, There Will Be Blood, and Jaws to this day, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, believe it or not, I wasn't a big horror guy in the 80s. I know, it's the decade for it, but I kind of missed the boat on that. So I must have watched it just much later. Probably when it came out on DVD and really kicked butt in 2003, which is what prompted them to greenlight a sequel, because it was so successful on DVD. Enjoyed it, really love Kiefer Sutherland. That guy is magic in everything he does, and he's especially terrifying as David the Vampire. One thing that was kind of noteworthy about that movie was Joel Schumacher said he wanted to make vampires sexy, which when you think about it, Hollywood vampires pre-Lost Boys were always old counts, very stuffy. Yeah, I mean, think about, it wasn't before Lost Boys, but of course, you know, Bram Stoker's Dracula, the Francis Ford Coppola movie. I mean, you know, they tried to sexy it up a little bit with younger Gary Oldman, but that kind of older Count Dracula, Bela Lugosi vibe was very much what people thought when they thought vampires. And Joel Schumacher said, no, let's make them young, let's make them sexy, let's make them ride motorcycles. So, it definitely did help usher in. It's probably responsible for like Buffy the Vampire Slayer and other
I see that. Love
sexy young vampires later. Of course, Twilight. I don't think any of those properties exist if Lost Boys hadn't thrown open the, hey, vampires are pretty sexy vibe in 1987.
Yeah, it wasn't like Salem's Lot.
No, yeah, good point. Yeah, that very Nosferatu-themed vampire.
Still very much the vampire look. I think, probably pre-Lost Boys. Huge Lost Boys fan. Love it. Yeah, it was probably middle school, I think, when I first saw it. For me, this ranks, one of the tops. It's definitely in horror and especially vampire, like this and Fright Night. I love those two. So good. Lost Boys really good. That perfect mix of, horror and humor, which is very hard to do.
Very hard.
Very hard because, you have the humor of the Frog Brothers who, love them. They're, it was one of those where then when you're watching as a teen, you can, you relate to them and think, how cool would that be to, be a vampire as a teen? Yeah. As Corey Feldman, who's just awesome. Well, what kid growing up in the 80s, didn't want to be Corey Feldman? Like from Goonies to this, dude, he was looked like at the time living the life. We find out later that was not the case. We'll get into that.
Yeah.
It's fun, and Kiefer Sutherland is terrifying. That great mix, horror, humor, love it.
Yeah, horror and humor really are hard to balance because usually you either undercut the horror with the humor or you undercut the humor with the horror, and you don't really get both. You kind of get one or the other, whereas Lost Boys, it can be genuinely scary, it could be genuinely funny. Definitely walked that balance very well. Whereas Fright Night, another vampire movie that came out like the year before, great humor, not really scary.
Yeah.
Good
You're
humor.
so cool, Brewster.
Right. So, I love that. And I guess that one also had the younger vampire, but not like the cool, sexy vampire. He was more like the neighbor next door.
Yeah, Jerry the vamp. I love it.
Yeah. So,
there were sexy vampires, the Hammer films. I don't know if you ever watched any of those from back in the 70s.
I didn't.
There's a lot of hot, sexy, vampires in that movie. If you want to call the vampire's brides.
Well, okay, yeah, they always have the hot vampire brides, but I'm talking the vamps themselves.
Gotcha. Well, these ladies had things, so that's the second pair of things you noticed on them in the Hammer films was a pair of fangs. Not the number one thing you noticed, but eventually you got second. Like, oh, that's a vampire. You should run. Yeah, I would totally be dead in like 5 seconds. If a beautiful woman came up to me, was enticing me to come to her, I would get bit instantly. Yeah, I would fall to the vampire nation, man. You'd have to stick a stake in me. Yeah.
All right. Well, so we got 1987, The Lost Boys, starring Kiefer Sutherland, Jason Patric as what's the guy's name? Emerson's his last name, but he's
Michael and Sam.
Mike.
He's Michael. Yeah.
He's Michael. Sam Emerson, of course, played by Corey Haim. The Frog Brothers, I can't remember the other one, but Corey Feldman playing, the one that we all remember. The very funny Diane West playing the boy's mom. And as we mentioned, Jamie Gertz, not Ione Skye, playing the romantic love interest. This was released by Warner Brothers. It had a budget of $8.5 million, so modestly budgeted, but did $32.2 million in its initial box office run before being very successful on home video, and then very successful a second time when it was released in the DVD wave in about 2003.
How did that not get to like the merchandise that other big 80 movies got? Even Aliens got a big merchandise push. It wasn't in every store, but if you went to a Spencer's or, like a cooler department store, they would have the Aliens action figures. Kind of hard to find, back in the day, but I don't know how Lost Boys didn't have a huge push of like action figures, but I guess because it's rated R, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it's a rated R movie, so if that would have got a toy launch, like say it came out today, you would have so much merchandise of the Lost Boys, it would be ridiculous. But a lot of times they missed a boat, because if there was Lost Boys merchandise, man, that would have been like top Christmas gift. You know what I'm saying? Imagine having the play sets. You have the carnival, you have the lair, then you have the house where Sam and Michael live. That'd be and like you would get the Tom Capello variant, you know? Like that would be the number one figure. It'd be the hardest figure to get. Everybody want the muscle-bound saxophone guy. Maybe has some swivel action right there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's like, oh man. Yeah, they missed the boat.
Apparently.
Man, there's a universe out there where they have that too.
And maybe one day Super 7 will release it. Who knows?
They got to. I want the Kung Fu grip saxophone action. You know what I'm saying? And we play a little song, play like 15 seconds of the song.
Oh my goodness.
That'd be amazing, man.
Well, the 80s, the fact that a movie was rated R did not stop them from marketing toys and cartoons to children.
Yeah.
Like, I had a RoboCop action figure.
Oh yeah. I had all the figures.
Absolutely. Rambo had a cartoon series, very inappropriate for kids. Aliens, like you said, in '86, it was so popular they were going to develop a cartoon series, but later decided against
that would have been awesome. Yeah,
totally
how did Japan not do it?
You actually, like you said, you could find the action figures. In the end, they ended up releasing the figures that were supposed to be tied to the cartoon, but they scrapped the cartoon.
Yeah, that's a bum.
But yeah, no, the 80s had plenty of very not appropriate for children movies get turned into action figures. So why not Lost Boys, right? Of course, it was directed by Joel Schumacher. Dave, any thoughts on Schumacher?
Yeah, he's a controversial one in that he's made great films and terrible films.
Absolutely.
So this was his second film. His first one actually being St. Elmo's Fire. I didn't realize when I looked up I was like, oh wow, I didn't realize he did a Brat Pack movie, which then kind of makes sense because Lost Boys is like a Brat Pack vampire. So
certainly
that
it's
actually
Breakfast Club with fangs.
Yeah, so it was like, oh, all right, that actually makes sense. And then he had some great one, Falling Down.
The ones with Michael Douglas.
So he's got that. He's got Flatliners.
Which
I enjoy.
Underrated.
Phone Booth, which I really
Yeah.
enjoyed.
Yeah.
8mm, which was interesting. And then of course he had some that were kind of successful, but I didn't really care for. Like he did the Phantom of the Opera.
Oh yeah,
that was
okay,
him, which was fine. The Client, which people liked. I didn't really care for that movie. And then of course,
most notably.
He did the 2 Batman movies after Tim Burton.
Yeah, known for just ruining Batman and almost probably killing the superhero genre. I mean, I think because it took 8 years before they rebooted Batman. I mean, that thing was in the ground.
And a couple of failed Marvel attempts. A couple of failed ones. The Hulk. Besides the Sam Raimi Spider-Mans, there really wasn't much to be excited about the superhero, even though the first 2 X-Men were pretty good.
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
Then that third one.
Oh, that third one was
Can
we not get a good Rise of Phoenix? We've had 2 Rise of Phoenix,
attempts.
and they've all been trash. And you had 2 ladies who did a great job of playing Jean Grey, and they just totally.
Oh yeah, not the actress's fault at all.
Yeah.
In either case, it's just very poorly written and directed. But he definitely was very controversial in his choices. Definitely had some stinkers as well as some bangers. And his Batman movies are terrible. To this day, I can admit I have never seen Batman and Robin all the way through start to finish.
Oh wow.
I can't. I keep trying to. I keep saying, all right, no, I got to do this because I know it's so bad it's good. And then I just can't. I can't finish it. So maybe if we bring up Batman and Robin on the show, it forces me to watch it.
Yeah.
Because you watched this movie. I think I'd rather watch Batman and Robin than Lost Boys 2. Sorry.
I don't know.
I don't want to derail our podcast today. But yeah.
I mean, we'll get to Lost Boys 2.
Watch.
It's boring, really. It's not that it's bad. It's just not good.
Yeah, there's some good stuff in there.
It has some stuff in the soup that you appreciate.
Can I ask you, can we talk about one thing from the original Lost Boys that's, didn't bug me till I watched this later on as an adult? The grandfather, all right, obviously knows that there's vampires in this town and that, he just lets his family go running about at nighttime. And then at the end, he acknowledges the fact, that's the one thing I hate about Santa Clara is all these GD vampires.
Right.
So he had prior knowledge that moving his family there, they were at great risk of becoming vampires or being food for vampires.
Right.
Obviously, he knows that guy might be the head vampire and he's dating his daughter.
Right.
He's letting his kids hang out with known vampires if he's watching from a distance, because obviously he knows that. But so do you think that he lured his family there to kind of be like bait for the vampires, or he's just such an irresponsible, old, irritable man that, you know, he's like, I don't care. I'm going to get rid of these vampires and maybe sacrifice my family for it, but I'm going to be a vampire hunter and do what I got to do to rid this town of this vampire menace. Yeah. What do you think happened there? Is there something deeper there that I'm missing?
I don't know about at the time. I don't know, or this is purely retconned, but there is it's called Reign of Frogs, and it's a comic book that came out right before Lost Boys, The Tribe, and in it, it reveals that Grandpa was a vampire. But you know how it's kind of like a two-step, like it's two-step verification. Yeah. You have to get their blood, but then you have to feed. Yeah. Yes. So that so in that it says that Grandpa had that first initial where he became a vampire, but he never ate. And so that's why he does the taxidermy, because he's eating the animals.
Oh, wow.
Now, I don't know if that was something they kind of came up with later.
They might have made it just, you know, this kind of doesn't make sense.
So, yeah, I don't know if that's came up later with, or if that was like, if you deep code watch that movie, there's little signs that Grandpa was one. I don't know. I didn't tell or pick up on that.
Interesting.
But yeah, later on, it's revealed Grandpa was a vampire.
Well, there you go, Tim.
All right, nice. Okay. I didn't know there was some comic. Retcon, as you say. Retcomics.
Retcomic, yes. Now, we'll get to that as we talk further sequels down the line, because this property did get milked, you know,
poorly
a bit. And believe it or not, there are talks of further properties in this franchise, so we will get to that as well. Before moving on to the second one, do we talk Corey Feldman now? Is this the first movie with the two Coreys?
It is.
This is the bringing together of the two Coreys.
Yeah. So if I could kick off Corey Feldman.
Please do.
So he had, I think, if you break down his career, he's on stage 5 of his career. Stage 1 being he was in commercials, TV shows, Fox and the Hound voiceover. Yeah, he was voice of young Copper.
Yeah, bringing back Fox and the Hound,
you
mentioned a couple weeks ago. David, over 200 television commercials.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize he was that
prolific. He was incredibly prolific. Incredibly. He was cast in a Bad News Bears TV show that unfortunately got canceled after just 8 episodes. I mean, he was, pre-Haley Joel Osment, Kevin McAllister, Macaulay Culkin. I mean, he was in the early 80s, the it boy of Hollywood. If you needed the all-American precocious young boy, Corey Feldman was your boy.
Oh, yeah. So he was in, all this. And then in 84, he enters phase 2, which is Gremlins and Friday the 13th Final Chapter.
Same year.
Yeah. Strong year.
Yeah.
That might be one of the strongest years in Hollywood history. Gremlins, Friday the 13th, Final Chapter, and Goonies?
Yes.
Think about that.
Well, Goonies was the next year then?
Because Goonies was the next year.
Right. Oh, so what did you say the first 3 were?
So the 2 in a back-to-back same year was Gremlins and Friday the 13th.
Good run.
Followed so he was the next year by Goonies, and then the next year after that by Stand By Me.
Stand By Me.
Woo. So he's knocking them out of the park every time.
And they had to turn down Friday the 13th Part 5, which would have been a whole different movie if they would have had Feldman in that.
Oh,
if y'all don't know if you ever heard of the behind the scenes or director's commentary of that, but it was going to be a whole other movie.
It was going to be Tommy Jarvis.
Yeah. But they couldn't get Feldman just for that one scene. Yes.
Wow.
That one, Feldman wanted to come back and do it, but his schedule is so busy. Yeah, they were just churning them out left and right.
They were literally putting them out every year.
Part 5 is underrated, but what it could have been if they would have kept Feldman as Tommy Jarvis, it could have just changed the franchise forever.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he was excellent in these parts.
Yeah,
I love him even as an adult watching his performance. Great kid performances, and child performances are very difficult to pull off. But he was great in Gremlins. He was great in Goonies. He was my favorite Goonie.
Yeah, favorite Goonie.
My favorite Goonie was Mouth. Hands down, not even second place. It wasn't Samwise Gamgee. It was Mouth.
Yeah, if I could be a Goonie, it would have been Mouth.
It would have been Mouth. We all would have been Mouth. Yeah. So, and then Lean On Me. Or Stand By Me, sorry. Very different movie, Lean On Me. Stand By Me. So, he was delivering very good performances. And then moving into 87
was
this and License to Drive, Drive My Car. What's
License to Drive. Yeah.
And that's the following year.
Yeah.
Right?
So that then starts. So Lost Boys is the kind of end of that initial run. So that's like his big second
golden
phase.
era of Feldman.
Yeah. And then on this movie is when he then Corey Haim that's their first movie together. Then they go on to his next phase, which is the two Coreys.
Seniles.
And they make, so these are all the films they were in together.
Oh,
They
wow.
did. So Lost Boys, and then License to Drive with Heather Graham before she
amazing,
was
Heather Graham.
Go back
and watch that. That's the next level.
And then Dream a Little Dream.
Oh, that's right.
Not a bad movie.
Yeah,
I like that movie.
And then it gets terrible. Yeah,
That's when he goes into his Michael Jackson phase.
Yeah,
Dream a Little Dream.
Yeah,
That's when he's
things get weird.
Things get weird.
Yeah, he's hanging with Michael.
Yeah,
He's hanging with Michael. Believe what you want, but he's hanging with Michael this time.
yeah. And then then they do that. Then they get into the straight to video movies. Blown Away, Last Resort, Dream a Little Dream 2, and then a movie directed by Corey Feldman, Busted, and then their last film together, Lost Boys 2.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
Blown Away, by all means, check out Blown Away.
Oh, you've seen it?
Nicole Eggert.
Yeah.
Nicole
I didn't realize that was the movie we're talking about. I've seen that.
She goes full Jesse Spano in striptease. Like, if you want to get, up close and personal with Nicole Eggert, watch Blown Away. I mean, it is top shelf.
No, yes, I have seen that only because I was like, wait, the girl from Charles in
Yes.
Charge? Wow. Okay.
So that would be
That was him.
yeah. So then there was that phase of Corey Feldman's career, and then afterwards he gets more into the music or like straight to video stuff, and he did, Bordello Blood and
Right.
some other. He gets very into just B movies, and then it becomes, I think, more of a joke. Like, oh look, it's Corey Feldman.
He becomes a
became
joke,
that.
and I think a large part of him becoming the butt of the joke is, of course, their reality show, right? Because that's this era, or are we calling that phase 4?
That's the following phase, which is then where he gets more into music, his music career, which is painful to watch. It's so embarrassing
I'm
to
so
watch.
sorry. It's just terrible.
And this Howard Stern, Channel 9 show has resurfaced of Corey Feldman doing a song on the Howard Stern show, which is absolutely amazing. Go watch the Corey Feldman performance on the Howard Stern Channel 9 show. It is amazing. Howard has a bald cap. He's like dressed like Right Said Fred. Oh, there's so much goodness in just this 3-minute clip. I mean, I've watched it like 20 times in the last couple of months. It's amazing. It's a good comedy. But here's what I want to say about the Corey Feldman phase. What phase is he on now when it just goes downhill?
3 would have been the two Coreys.
Yeah.
4
Two
is,
Coreys.
is more, straight to video, where it starts to become more of a joke that he's in a movie, as opposed to like, oh wow, it's like, oh man, Corey, remember that guy?
right.
And then, you get into this whatever phase where it's now music. And I think he still pops up in random B movie, straight to video.
It looks like Disney's taking the same model as
the
Corey Feldman did. What do you mean? Like phase 5 is garbage or whatever phase they're all.
or the MCU.
The MCU. Yeah, they're going to Corey Feldman.
Corey phase.
Yeah, they're on that track, dude.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Where
We're getting close.
Where this new phase, he makes just terrible music.
She-Hulk is trash.
That is true. That's just painful music. It's embarrassing.
It's embarrassing.
Like
He didn't have somebody in his life to tell him no. There's nobody in his life that told Corey Feldman, no, don't do this. This is a bad idea. He just had enablers, to let Corey do what Corey wanted when he needs somebody in his life to be like, no, dude, you're a great actor. You should have stuck to that. You should have got your chops. He could have been Christian Bale at this point, He could have been somebody we still talk about to this day. He could have been Leo. He could have been that level, because in Stand By Me, that's such a strong performance when he talked about his dad in the war. I mean, Corey had the chops, man. It's just like nobody told him no, and he put it in cruise control. He did these easy movies that didn't challenge him. He didn't have somebody that said, man, you should probably take What's Eating Gilbert Grape, something on that level like Leo did, who should have been nominated, probably should have won. That should have been his first Oscar, was Who's Eating Gilbert Grape. That should have been Corey Feldman in some of those roles coming up. But he didn't have anybody in his life to tell him no, to lead him, and to say, hey, dude, get your act together because you're on the wrong path right now. He never had that. He never had that father figure or somebody, to set him straight. And I think that's what happened to Corey Feldman in life.
Well, so I read his autobiography, Choreography.
Great title.
Great title. Wow, that is a home run, dude. Great title, yeah.
And, what's really, really sad, we'll get to what's really, really sad in a moment, but what is very sad about him describing his, phase 1, phase 2 Hollywood career is that, he was under immense pressure to be the breadwinner in his house. He was the golden goose, right? So his parents quit their job, and their job became driving Corey Feldman around to auditions and, parts and what have you. And so, he said he felt this immense pressure, like, I am now the breadwinner of my mom, my dad, my sibling. Like, it was all on his shoulders. So you're right. They weren't telling him no because they were milking him like a cow, dude, to be honest. And then, of course, later, he really was the first person to blow the whistle on the pedophilia that is rampant in Hollywood. And definitely, I think, partially got blacklisted because of that. But also, I think just the psychological scars of, he was molested. Now, he does claim that Michael Jackson was not one of those people. And he says that Corey Haim got molested much further than he did, which is what started Haim's descent into heavy drug use, self-medicating to kind of take care of the pain. But I think that was really what was going on. I think it was, do I think something happened between him and Jackson? Dude, I don't know. But if you want to know what Corey Feldman's music sounds like, it's a white kid trying to do his best Michael Jackson impression. It is painful to watch. He obviously idolizes Michael. He copies the dance moves. Actually not a bad dancer, but everything he's doing is an impersonation. He's basically a Michael Jackson impersonator.
Yeah, not bad. He's a good dancer. Corey Feldman is a strong, decent dancer.
He is a decent dancer.
I would say, as a great dancer myself, I would say Corey Feldman is a strong dancer. He's no Alfonso. You ever played
Alfonso Ribeiro?
Yeah, he did. That's one of the best. He does a great Michael Jackson routine for the Pepsi or Coke commercial. Yeah, Pepsi back in the day. So yeah, if you want to see a great Michael Jackson impersonation, go see Carlton from Fresh Prince. What's his name again?
Alfonso Ribeiro.
Yeah, Alfonso Ribeiro.
I remember him as the friend from Silver Spoon.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Ricky Schroeder's friend.
He had a strong Ricky Schroeder. There's a guy who has
he fell off too hard. So Corey Feldman, he just didn't navigate transitioning from, he did okay from child star to teen idol, but then he just could not make it from teen idol to adult roles. And that's, what tanked him. And now you're right. He is always cast as a joke, basically, And, in this movie, I think they brought him back because he was pretty much the only person from the original cast they could afford. These direct-to-video sequels were made incredibly cheaply. And so, they wanted to connect it somehow to the first one, and, they could get Feldman and Corey Haim, who is in the movie just very, very, very briefly as a cameo in the end, because, wasn't it because that was he was struggling with substances at the time, and so they just basically couldn't use him as much as they had intended to?
Yeah, because this came out during, the TV series, reality TV series, The Two Coreys. So that was 07 to 08. So that was actually going on while filming this movie. And I guess Corey Haim, his was a lot of drug use to the point where, it became literally a quick cameo scene, mid-credit roll scene.
Cameo,
which would have been, I think, bigger, but I think he was too much of a liability with his rehab that they were like, look, dude, we could do a little quick scene. That's all we can afford to do.
Right. And the show, The Two Coreys, approached this production to see if they could film the Two Coreys making this movie as part of the reality show, but the Warner Brothers just shut it down. They're like, no, we don't need you guys running around here. So let's kind of talk about then what's happening behind the scenes with the Lost Boys, The Tribe, before we get into the plot or anything like that. And then that's going to lead me down this straight to video rabbit hole. But the sequel film that we're discussing today is called Lost Boys, The Tribe. And the reason why it's called The Tribe is this is another case of, this was a script that was developed completely independently of the Lost Boys. It was actually a werewolf movie that was a spec script, and they were pitching it around. They pitched it to Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers actually initially passed on it because they felt it was too close to the Lost Boys. They're like, this is, pretty derivative of the Lost Boys. We already made that movie, pass.
Hollywood making copycat movies, that's nothing new. So why, I don't even know why this is an issue, especially in this era when it was prevalent.
Right.
Really not sure what that word means, or if I'm using it right, but I believe it's right.
Yes. Well, and then some genius at Warner Brothers is like, actually, yeah, this is really close to the Lost Boys. And so they ended up circling back, buying it, and retrofitting it into Lost Boys 2.
And not just any kind of werewolf, Brian. Surfer werewolves.
Oh,
Surfer werewolves. Oh, yeah. No, they are surfer
not to be
werewolves.
matched by
So-
Nazis. You know, which was big in the 80s too. Yes.
Yeah, so actually, yeah, with the sequel in mind, so Joel Schumacher was approached to do a sequel, which was going to be The Lost Girls.
The Lost Girls.
Ooh, okay, now I'm excited.
And then that, didn't happen, and it just kind of, sat in development hell, I think, for a while.
Yes.
And there was a script, Lost Boys, The Devil May Cry.
Is that the one based on Kiefer's character? Because he really wanted to bring back Kiefer Sutherland, who dies in the first movie. But I guess his rationale is, well, we see him impaled, but we didn't see him explode. So they were going to bring him back since he didn't explode.
Yeah, so there was actually going to be David,
Right.
the vampire, Kiefer's character. There was going to be a prequel,
Oh,
the
okay.
beginning. And so it takes place in like 1905, 1906.
Oh,
and
Lord, way back.
Yeah, and it's him and his gang. You got Bill, Alex Winters, Bill from
Bill
and Ted, and
yes.
those, they're rascals in San Francisco, and they rob this guy and shoot him, leave him for dead, and then they run off to was it Santa Clara or whatever, and it turns out that the guy they shot is a Romanian named Vlad.
Oh,
Which is
Dracula,
Dracula.
Vlad the Impaler.
Yeah, and so then he shows up, and they're like, "Oh, what?" And he ends up recruiting them for jobs or whatever, and then fights ensue, and then the Frogier brothers show up. Stuff that was clever, and they have a vampire hunting book, and they show it to David, and they're like, "Look what's happening." It was very much David is the Michael character, and then who falls for a girl who's a vampire, and he becomes a vampire, and then it worked in the 1906 San Francisco earthquake gets worked in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it sounded wild.
Pretty wild.
So that never happened.
I got to admit, everything you described would have been a much better movie.
That sounds great. I mean, I'm loving this idea.
Yeah. But, I guess Kiefer was just too big at that time. Schumacher was just too busy at that time. It just sort of never happened.
Yeah.
So it fell by the wayside. And then it was when The Lost Boys hit DVD in 2003, and it was like a big runaway success, that Warner Brothers kind of started thinking, there's gold in them there hills, and then sort of opened their mind to a sequel.
How did they not see that in '86 though? That there was Golden Hills.
I
It
know.
was a huge movie. I remember just everybody talking about Lost Boys. It was always a big movie with me and a group of my friends, even all the way through middle school to high school. Like Lost Boys was, a standard to be watched.
Right.
When you're over at a friend's house, let's watch Lost Boys. Okay, sounds great. Everybody had the soundtrack. I remember the soundtrack was like underground hit, especially Cry Little Sister. I remember that being such a monster, low-key banger. I don't know what the 80s words, I forgot. Anyway, underground, it was, I don't see how they didn't realize that back in '86. Just sometimes Hollywood is just so, it boggles your mind how they dropped the ball on a lot of stuff, and how, maybe that's why all this stuff is starting to catch up. Maybe that's why, theaters are dying and, movies aren't as big as they used to be, because you got too many people who probably shouldn't be, bouncing the ball. And why you got Focus, Neon, and A24 doing so well with smaller budgets and smaller, scale films, and that, a lot of times, those are running by more, which is brain,
Artistically inclined.
right brain, left brain. Which brain is that?
Yeah.
Those kind of people.
The arty brain.
Yeah, the arty brain over the executives and businessmen. So, I don't know what Hollywood's doing, but I can't believe they didn't milk it in '86, because it would have been a monster.
Well, that actually segues perfectly into the whole made-for-video, direct-to-video phenomenon. So why didn't they make it as a sequel? Well, honestly, pre-direct-to-video, Hollywood sequels certainly happened, of course. I mean, that's what this show is based on. But they were much more rare. Talking about the studio sequels, like for a major studio to do a sequel for a major motion picture, yeah, it happened. It just didn't happen nearly as much as it started to happen in the direct-to-video sequel phenomenon. And what was it that changed that? It was, in fact, the DVD. So DVD, the DVD technology, comes out in 1997 in America, 1998 in Europe. And players were $800 when they originally came out. So they were very much like a Laserdisc, right? Like that technology is very parallel to the Laserdisc players that had come out already by then. Laserdisc players were very expensive. Laserdiscs were very expensive, but they didn't really catch on with collectors. But what was different about the DVD craze was that the price of the players dropped really far, really fast. And by 2002, so we're talking about just 5 years, which in consumer technology terms, 5 years isn't that long. By 2002, there were 80 million DVD players in the US, and it was the fastest ever adopted new technology platform to that point was the DVD. And specifically what really kicked off the direct-to-video craze with these major studios is the fact that, you know, yes, in VHS, and of course we talked about this in the Iron Eagle episode, right? That in the late 80s and going into the 90s, the studios were kind of starting to experiment with what happens if we take our product and instead of putting it just to the rental market, what if we start marketing it direct to consumers? And, you know, there were some movies that were starting to hit, but it was really mostly Disney films. And they were doing a ton of direct-to-video sequels at that time. But it was really like the family films. You weren't seeing that many consumers buying major motion pictures until the DVD came out. And it's because they included, of course, the bonus scenes, the bonus content, documentaries, the commentary tracks, the deleted scenes. And they sort of pushed this whole, if you love the movie, you should collect the movie mentality. And this was, like I said, kind of starting to push pre-DVD with the whole Laserdisc thing, but it just never took off because the technology just never dropped in price. But now the DVD, it's so small, it's so portable, it's so cheap, and they really pushed this, hey, if you love the movie, you should collect the movie mentality. And the world really said, yes, we will do that. So now Hollywood has two markets. They've got the rental market and Blockbuster. Of course, Blockbuster becomes one of the biggest companies in the world, certainly in the entertainment industry at this time. And now you also have this consumer market that's going to buy it and own it. And then all of these major motion picture studios start saying, hey, we should open up divisions to go straight to home video. And Warner Brothers opened up Warner Brothers, what was it called?
Warner Brothers, or Warner Premiere.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Warner Premiere. And, you know, each one of these, Paramount had Paramount Famous and Fox had Fox Searchlight and other ones. And they sort of like opened up these little labels where they were going to take the IP that they owned and they were going to, as cheaply as possible, make direct-to-video sequels that they knew weren't theatrically viable, but they didn't care because they knew that, you know, they were going to make it up on that. And so that's when they all of a sudden opened up the floodgates to many titles that they might have never considered, like Lost Boys 2, which died on the vine. I think it would have been cool, but I guess they just didn't have the faith to pull the trigger. Well, now post-DVD, they were pulling the trigger, and they were perhaps pulling the trigger way too much. And of course, it's that phase from like the early aughts up until about 2012, that 12-year period is where a lot of this podcast is going to get its material because they were greenlighting every direct-to-video sequel they could possibly think of. Now, I do have an article here from 2010, and it mentions, this article was written as Lost Boys 3 is about to come out. So when this article was written, Lost Boys 2 had already come out. And this is in The Guardian, and they're talking about these direct-to-video sequels. And I'm going to just read a few select quotes that I've, you know, kind of pre-selected. So the author, Alex Godfrey, I'm going to give him credit since I'm going to ape some of his stuff. So he said, back in the 90s, direct-to-video sequel industry mainly produced animated or family films. Disney in particular had like a ton of these. However, with the decreasing cost of filming and distributing DVD movies over the last decade means that business is booming. And just last year, so 2009, we saw Donnie Darko 2, which we're definitely gonna have to cover on our show.
It's dark.
The Cell 2, which the Cell 1 was a flop. I can't even believe they made a sequel.
Oh, you didn't like the Cell
It's
for
good,
real?
though. It failed.
Yeah.
It's
I like
creepy,
the Cell.
weird. It's
All right, well, I'm alone on that one.
it's D'Onofrio. Come on.
Yeah, Vince Vaughn.
Yeah,
A lot of Vinces in that.
Yeah.
a lot of Vince.
Yeah.
Jennifer Lopez.
Vince's. Where's that show?
Oh, yeah, it's got J-Lo.
The Grudge 3, Bring It On 5,
Anything Bring It On is good.
and American Pie 7.
Well, they got that far?
They got to 7, as well as sequels to Death Race, 30 Days of Night, Mean Girls, Starship Troopers.
We got to do the 30 Days of Night sequel because I love 30 Days of Night. I think it's one of my all-time favorite vampire films. But the sequel is a steaming pile of hot garbage that never should have been made. There's way better ways to take that franchise. You talk about dropping the ball, a franchise that could have been big. Man, am I the only one here that loves 30 Days of Night? Thinks it's a quality flick?
I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I think it's, and Josh Hartnett, where's Josh Hartnett been, dude? Come back to the scene, man. We miss you.
I know.
I love Josh Hartnett. That kid was
Sleeping
strong.
on Hartnett.
Man, what's up with that?
No,
Where
I
you go?
know. I know.
Are we going to see him in an A24 movie like 5 years, like Brendan Fraser? I know I bring up A24.
You bring up A24
That's because A24 does nothing but the Lord's work as far as cinema goes. They're doing the Lord's work. They're the Ty Robinson of Hollywood. They do the Lord's work.
Start the reclamation
Josh
project for
Hartnett.
Josh Hartnett.
Yeah,
I'm sure he'll get rediscovered.
Yeah.
So anyway,
was great.
this guy over at Paramount, his name was Louis Fiola, and he was kind of heading up their straight-to-video division, with the first one of that division being Bring It On Again. So
There's no bad Bring It On.
and for the record, people, Tim really did request to do a Bring It On 2 for this podcast, but we looked it up and they are not in the same universe, so we turned down his request.
The cheerleading universe is one big universe.
No, I'm afraid it's not.
don't
There
say I
has
tell
to
you.
be one character
Yeah.
at least that bridges the gap between these sequels. So
Everybody hit the comments to make Brian change his mind for a Bring It On, because I just want to talk about my life and experiences with Bring It On, the first one.
okay, well, Bring It On did very well. So that was the first direct-to-video sequel of the Paramount division was Bring It On 2,
Nice.
Which sold 2 million DVDs right away.
Man, that's good, bro.
No,
Yeah, that's
it
good.
banged. It was.
Man,
it was
that's a gold DVD.
So in this article, it quotes PJ Pesci, and I hope I'm saying that correctly. So PJ is the director of 4 direct-to-video sequels, including Lost Boys 2. So that's why we're bringing
What's
him
his
up.
name again?
PJ Pesci.
Oh man, I wonder if he's related to Joe Pesci.
I don't know if he
You made
is.
me put your head in a vice for Charlie F and M.
Now, the 4 direct-to-video sequels that this dude directs, he did, of course, Lost Boys 2, he did Dusk Till Dawn 3, he did Smoking Aces 2, and he did Sniper 3.
All right. I mean, I never directed a feature film, but I mean, this guy did nothing but trash. That sounds like to me. I'm a director of trash.
Yeah,
That's all that matters, man. Do you, bro? I'm sorry. I apologize. You know, I hate saying that, man, because I've never directed anything of any note.
Right.
But, you know, I mean, geez.
Well, Mr. Pesci here does land on his feet because he does prove to Hollywood that he's very good at getting his movies done on time and on budget.
All right, I guess that's what matters.
So after this direct-to-video wave crashes and dies, he actually moves into TV where he's been very prolific.
Oh, let's hear what he did.
Everything.
Yeah.
If you've seen it on TV,
Okay, nice.
he's
All
directed.
right. Well, you got a couple there? Nothing. You just
no, dude, the list was so long.
Didn't mean to call you out. Bro.
No, the list was so long on IMDb.
Are we talking about CSIs?
And yes,
The
procedural.
procedural.
Not like, you know,
Yeah,
Netflix.
okay, no Game of Thrones.
No, okay,
Gotcha,
but like
gotcha.
if it's a network show, he at one point directed an episode of it, right? So here's what he says per this article. So here's what happens. Sometimes an independent producer will make a movie and the studio marketing guys will see it and go, tell you what, if we name this thing 8mm 2, we can immediately sell 200,000 copies based on that title alone. So what he just described is, of course, what happened to American Psycho 2, which is what we covered in our second episode, right? It was a movie that had nothing to do with American Psycho whatsoever, but it was during this, 2000 to 2012 wave of these movies, so they just slapped that name on there. So he was talking about this. He says the studio was like, hey, can we take that werewolf movie and turn them into vampires? And the writer said, well, wait a second. In vampire mythology, vampires are not supposed to be able to cross running water. So there's a logical disconnect if we have surfing vampires. And the producer's like, it doesn't matter. But what can you do at that point? You're just the writer. You have a wife. You have a kid. You got to pay the bills. Do you walk away or do you keep working? You got to work. So, you know, I definitely respect that.
There's a chink in armor on this surfing vampires. So all you really have to do is when you found out they existed, just bring a priest to the ocean while they're surfing and bless that water.
Make it all
and game over, man.
Yeah, game over, man.
This movie's only 5 minutes, man.
Well, okay, so just two more quick quotes, and I'll put this article away. So Pesci continues, you don't go over budget on these. You don't get to go over schedule, not even by 1 hour. If you don't come in on time tough, they'll just figure out a way to cut it without those scenes. I look back on Lost Boys 2, and I think that we were effing insane to even attempt to make that movie in 21 days.
Man, he kind of sounds like the real Joe Pesci a little bit.
A little bit.
A lot of
He's
attitude.
no nonsense.
Yeah.
He's no nonsense.
If you don't finish this movie, I'm going to go down to the bank. I'm going to crack your head wide open in front of everybody. Because I don't give a damn about jail. I'm stupid.
So what's interesting, though, is that here we are in 2010, and even this article says, but could the DVD movie boom finally be coming to an end? As downloading increases, DVD sales are plummeting, particularly those direct-to-DVD titles.
It's a profit.
And so they go back and quote this Viola guy from Paramount, and he goes, what used to be a fairly stable business is going through a change. Foreboding. And then I've got one really quick article. It's just a little blurb. This is in the Wrap from August 13th, 2012. So, citing the downturn in the home entertainment industry, Warner Brothers shut down its direct-to-video label, Warner Premiere, this summer, the Wrap has learned. Quote, given the continuing decline in direct-to-video film market and shifting business model in the production of digital series, the decision was made to close Warner Premiere, the studio said in a statement. The division will continue to complete production, blah, blah, blah. Launched in 2006. So this division only lasted 6 years. Launched in 2006, the division focused on making sequels or spin-offs to franchises that bypass theatrical release. However, the collapse of the DVD market has made Warner Premiere's business model less profitable than originally hoped. It is crazy to me to think that this business model, which kicked off with DVDs and was doing so well, got kneecapped so fast. And you know who the silver bullet was that took down this entire business model?
I'm excited to hear it.
Netflix.
That's right. Oh,
Netflix.
That's a silver bomb.
Netflix ate their lunch. Dude, what's crazy is, so I looked it up. Netflix they open up their mail order business in 1998. So DVDs come out in 97. 1 year later, Netflix is like, oh, what if we send these guys in the mail? They start in 1998. Netflix starts streaming in 2007, and by 2013, Blockbuster Video is out of business. It took 6 years for Netflix to kill Blockbuster once they started streaming.
And they could have bought Netflix. Isn't that one of the craziest stories you ever heard?
I know.
Yeah.
They had the chance.
I remember the mail-in. I got involved in 03.
Oh, yeah. So that would have been
yeah.
during the mail-in. I mailed in a few DVDs.
Oh, yeah. No, I was a big fan. And then what's funny is once the war between Netflix and Blockbuster happened, I remember new releases. Blockbuster would cut deals. I don't know if it was by studio or how it worked, but I remember if you went into, the wall with the new release, they would actually have little signs that said 30 days before Netflix or 30 days before
exclusive to Blockbuster.
Or also the big thing was at this time, it would have been right around this time was Redbox.
Redbox started at this time as well.
Also Redbox.
So and so there was a lot that would say like 30 days before Redbox or exclusive on Blockbuster. So yeah, they were definitely trying to fight Netflix or
Well, they were fighting the war
rental.
on two fronts, right? Because you got Netflix was streaming and people were getting used to this whole streaming thing going, I like this whole streaming thing. You got Redbox on the other front being like, oh, you want physical? Well, you got to go to the grocery store anyway.
Yeah.
Just grab the movie on your way in. You don't have to make a special trip.
Yeah, and you can return it anywhere.
You can return it anywhere. Like, it just makes the physical experience so much easier than Blockbuster. So between those two things, and of course at the time, we should mention a third battlefront is the fact that piracy also exploded at this time. Once torrents start coming out and you can start torrenting things and downloading things, then, you know, you've got that, of course, as well. So people aren't going to go out and rent it when it's like, I can just stay home and, you know, download it. And by tomorrow morning, I got it and I can watch it on my computer. So between streaming, piracy, Redbox, Blockbuster, which is, like I said earlier, one of the biggest behemoths in the entire entertainment industry, is dead. It was 6 years after Netflix flipped the switch and started streaming.
And what's funny is like Blockbuster was so big, it used to have its own award show.
Of course, the Blockbuster.
There was the Blockbuster Awards and Celebrity. It was a big event.
It was.
I mean, that's crazy that it was so big. It had its own award show televised, and then dissolves.
Gone. You know,
It doesn't exist.
they just don't even exist anymore. And it just took them 6 years. So that was what also killed this whole business model that we've been discussing, the direct to DVD, because, you know, once people aren't buying those physical discs anymore, once Blockbuster's not absorbing that inventory anymore, you know, now you've got these movies that they're releasing that are either going to get pirated right away, or people who have a subscription to Netflix, they're not going to pay extra for it. If it shows up, you know, on their list, they might watch it, but Netflix licenses movies for pennies compared to physical sales. So it just all of a sudden became not very viable to make these direct-to-video sequels. Now, of course, sequels still exist. In fact, you could argue that most movies that come out nowadays are sequels or reboots, but these are Hollywood really hedging their bet with major motion pictures with known franchises. Almost everything is a superhero movie nowadays anyway, that the, you know, just Lost Boys. Oh yeah, that was a successful movie. Let's make a straight to video sequel of it. Like that tier of movie is not getting a sequel anymore. It's got to be, you know, something that's got a franchise, a TV user base already installed.
So Netflix isn't going to make Cruel Intentions 4, is what you're telling me.
They're not going to bother with Cruel Intentions 4, exactly.
But the Cruel Intentions is there actually Cruel Intentions 2?
There's 2 and 3.
Oh, there's no way it matches the first one.
Two
The
has,
first one was amazing.
Amy Adams in it.
Oh, wow.
Pretty famous Amy
Whoa,
Adams.
okay.
Yeah. Worth watching.
Okay. Oh, wow. Christopher Walken. I'm going to watch Cruel Intentions 2.
Yeah, first one's great. I love it.
Yeah.
And then, there's 3.
The first one is a masterpiece. I mean, let's be honest. It's one of the best movies there, that late 90s run, that teen drama.
Teen
Oh, my
thriller,
God.
yes.
I'm a huge fan. Look at this face right here. You see this face? When you think of this face, you think that a guy that says Cruel Intentions is one of the best movies of the late 90s. All right? I love Cruel Intentions.
There are very few movies you can think of that didn't get a sequel of some.
I can't believe there's a Cruel
in that
Intentions 2. Maybe I just
10-year run.
I forgot about it.
And 3, direct to video.
Wow. We got to do one of those.
Direct to video, right? And they didn't put any marketing muscle behind them. They were made as cheaply as possible. Just like Mr. Pesci said, you got like 3 weeks to do them. You got $5 million to do them. God help you if you go over budget. We will just pull the plug and cut the movie with whatever you have at that moment. You know, and so yes, there were a ton of movies that we didn't even know existed as sequels until we started researching for this show. And as I said at the top of the show, this 10-year span of time is going to give us so many episodes of this podcast, because these are terrible. The studio didn't care about quality. They were banging these things out as cheaply as possible, as quickly as possible, just to milk that sweet DVD money that Netflix just dried that teat right up.
But now it becomes a TV show now. Everything in the Interview with a Vampire TV show.
Yeah.
Am I wrong with that?
Yeah.
Is it any good? Have you watched it?
I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
No, and this one hasn't been kicked around as a TV show, but in a future episode, we'll talk about a franchise that you wouldn't think got a TV show that's getting one soon. Speaking of TV shows, if I may, just shout back to a previous episode, our lowest rated one yet, Grease 2. We mentioned The Rise of the Pink Ladies. It finally dropped its trailer yesterday.
Nice.
All right.
It looks
I haven't watched it.
wild.
All right.
So
I'm
yeah,
anxious to
Rise of the
watch
Pink Ladies on Paramount Plus. We said it was coming a few weeks ago, and they just dropped their trailer.
Is it like Euphoria style? Is it like...
Oh yeah. No, it is. It's ridiculous. Just watch one.
Like there'll be cocaine and...
There is a
threesomes.
line in this in the trailer that says to be good, sometimes you have to be bad.
All right.
Nice.
Cheesy.
That is a line from
Pour
the
that
trailer.
queso on there. I think I'm going to be
Are they
first
going
off,
for...
who's releasing it?
Paramount Plus.
Because originally it was going to be HBO. So,
Oh, yes.
so
Yeah, we discussed that. It was
gonna be
supposed to
HBO.
If HBO's not taking it, it can't be good.
Right.
HBO, all they do is make bangers as far as TV shows. You can't tell me that Last of Us is not one of the best things you've watched in the last 10 years. That
So
is
good.
a masterpiece.
I'm
Only
obsessed
4
with it.
episodes in. It is beautiful. It's amazing. Oh my God. HBO Max and White Lotus 1 and 2, or everything HBO puts their hands on is a home run right now.
Well, they figured they could not spin their magic when it comes to the Rise of the Pink Lady, so they passed.
I know, it's insane, right? Can it be that good now? It has to be worried. And then it went to Paramount.
And it went to straight to streaming on Paramount.
The company that canceled Workaholics, the movie, are you stupid? Or was it Peacock? Sometimes I get Peacock and Paramount confused. You know?
I think you're Peacock because they were Comedy Central and that's Peacock.
Okay, gotcha.
All right,
Okay.
so-
how do you drop Workaholics? We need to do a side podcast on them dropping the Workaholics.
Like an entire
Because those guys have done nothing but home runs. You know?
I don't know if I'm ready to revisit that every single week though.
What's that? We just got to do a side podcast.
Oh, just one
yeah,
app, like a
yeah,
one-
just like a quick 30, 45 minute banger. You know what I'm saying? Just get it in and out and over with. You know, we don't have to sit here because we haven't even started talking about Lost Boys.
I know.
How long are we into this?
We're into this almost an hour.
We haven't even talked about the crappy movie. We got to talk about this. We
We are, but I have a feeling that now that we're going to talk
we're
about it,
getting
we're
there.
probably going to bang through it in about 15 minutes.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah, about 15
Yeah,
minutes.
trust me, we don't need to harp on this much.
No.
We really don't. So
What a great lead-in, though, Brian. Great lead-in.
Yeah.
Yeah, strong.
All right. Well, thank you. So with that, let's actually talk about the plot
What you
of
came here
Lost
for.
Boys, The Tribe. So it starts off with a bunch of dude bro surfers, and they're breaking into some rich guy's compound. And then pretty quick, the rich guy comes, slinking out, and it's Tom Savini.
Yeah. That was exciting.
Yeah. I was like, oh, cool. Tom Savini, for those of you who don't know, is a makeup legend. He did a lot of the makeup effects for Romero back in the day. Did he do Dawn of the Dead? I know he did Day of
Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, he did Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
He did Day of the Dead. So that's kind of how Savini came up.
And he did Final Chapter.
He did even the original Friday the 13th.
Oh,
The
you're right.
Burning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
with
so-
Jason, the came out of the water at the end.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, that was
Savini.
him. And
Yes.
he was all excited.
I shook his hand one time at Spooky Empire.
Oh,
Is he nice?
Oh, I mean, he
seems
was
like-
coming out of the stall and he still shook my hand. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Yeah, and I haven't washed my hands since.
Yowza.
See me, baby.
So anyway, it's Tom Savini. I'm like, all right, right on. Tom Savini playing a vampire again because, of course, he played a vampire in
Sex
Sex Till Dawn.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Now, I have to admit, this twist did get me because I wasn't expecting to see vampire on vampire violence. So he's like, oh, boys, I'm going to drink your blood. And they're like, whatever. And then they get their fangs out and they actually decapitate Tom Savini right there on the spot. And I was like, wow, vampire on vampire violence, not something you see in movies.
Yeah, and I thought that was going to be the movie, and then it wasn't.
Yeah, right?
like vampire versus vampire, and we're getting into clans and class cat. I thought that's what the movie was going to be, and it wasn't really.
And in this, in this lore, there is a hierarchy of vampires because you've got your lead vampire you have to kill, and then you've got all the vampires in his downline under him. It's like a multi-level marketing of vampires, and I guess this is like some other downline because they're like, Tom Savini, we want your compound. Blah, they decapitate him, and I was like, oh, these dude bro frat boys surfers are in fact a gang of vampires. So I will say, I actually enjoyed the first scene.
Yeah, no, it was probably best thing.
Yeah, that's
Probably.
definitely a banger. But how's a vampire not sense that did he know they were vampires?
He did not.
Yeah.
I don't know if I buy
That is not
I
at
feel like
all.
I'm sure like
know the
vampires know
sense
other
that,
vampires,
right?
yeah. Like body heat, because we know there's kind of a lot of vampire lore that they can detect body heat.
Well, they talk
you know what
about
I'm saying?
smelling the blood.
Yeah, all that stuff. So,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it was awful. They should have worked on that. They should have done a better job. They're mailing it in, though, let's be honest.
I agree.
That's why we're here.
That's why we're here.
If he sensed that they were vampires, we probably wouldn't be here right now.
So now we cut to, a young brother and sister, Chris Emerson, and his sister, Nicole. Now, I didn't register that Nicole's supposed to be 17 because, the whole time he's being, super, super protective of her.
Yeah.
And she very much, to me, reads as, a 21, 22-year-old.
Yeah, I figured, she was early 20, he was 25, she's 21.
So, in a moment, there's like a scene where he gets like uber protective of her, and I'm like, bro, like, you know, what's up? If your sister wants to get staked by a vampire, why are you getting in the way?
Hey.
Yeah, so no, she's actually supposed to be 17. They are recently orphaned. He is taking care of his little sister. They are moving to Luna Bay, California. And they move into a house owned by their Aunt Jillian. That was kind of a funny scene where she's like, all right, kids, so just so you know, the rent's like $650, and they're like, oh, we thought you were going to
Yeah,
get a place to live because our parents
a hustle.
Sad, right? Or
Yeah, and she's like, oh, come on, I got to teach you some responsibility.
And by the way, Luna Bay has to be a holdover from the original vampire script. I mean, the werewolf script.
Oh, Luna Bay, yeah.
It has to be a holdover.
I didn't even think of that. Yeah, good point,
Clever.
good point.
clever too.
That's why you guys have me here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even catch that. So Chris is like a disgraced surfer or something.
How's
Like,
that happen?
They do not go into, like, did he kill his partner in like
Yeah.
a surfing accident?
Like, I feel like surfers and skateboarders is kind of like a loose moral value system, you know? I don't think they're judging too hard.
Yeah, I don't know what his fall is, and then aren't they mad that he doesn't come back because his parents died? Because it's been a year, right? I think it's been a year. And is it one of those things where we're like, well, how come you haven't surfed yet, or what? Or it was very odd.
It was very odd. And I must say, I thought it was strange that you never get the scene of him like getting back on the surfboard and like conquering.
Zero
You don't see him surf.
Yeah.
We never see him surf. Like, he is built up as like he is this fallen surf god who's like on the pro circuit that people recognize and respect. He's the Tony Hawk of surfing, basically, who hung up his board because of some tragedy. I mean, I guess his parents' death, but maybe he killed his parents in a surfing accident, right? Like, he accidentally surfboarded right into him. I don't know, but the point is he is a surfer, but retired from the pro circuit. But he heard that, Edgar Frog, he doesn't know him as Vampire Hunter from Lost Boys 1. He runs like a surfboard repair business or whatever.
He's a shaper.
He's a shaper. I don't know what that is, but yes, he's a shaper.
It took me a minute to realize what
You never
that
seen
was.
Lords of
And then,
Dogtown?
then
No.
they're
Yeah.
shaping
Oh,
the
man.
board,
Heath
sanding
Ledger?
it, Yeah.
That's what he does. He invented the skateboard, you know? Or, yeah. Did he invent the skateboard? Or
Lords of Dogtown is about skateboarding.
Yeah. Yeah. So, no, he made the first cool skateboarding team, Lords of Dogtown. So, yeah. Shaper, you know?
Oh, all right. Well,
Big out in California, man. That's a job.
sure. So he goes, looking for a job, leaves his info there, comes home, and when he gets there, he finds Shane Powers, who's like, I know you, bro. You're, Chris Emerson, retired disgraced surfer. You should come to my house party. Now, Shane Powers is played by, let me get the name right, Angus Sutherland, who is a half brother to Kiefer. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He looks a lot like the dad, Donald.
Yeah.
Doesn't look quite so much like Kiefer, but yeah.
And then is this the same scene where they meet the super emo kid that I just wrote down looks like all of Fall Out Boy put together?
Yeah, he looks just like Chris Wentz.
You just morph all of Fall Out Boy. If Fall Out Boy is a human, it's this guy.
Yeah, that scene.
Because he's initially trying to hit on the sister and he's being all weird, like, yeah, there's a lot of murder here, and like, oh, wait, that's weird to say.
Right.
And like he's being all weird, and then Angus shows up, Shane, Angus, whatever, and then
He's like, you should come to my party,
Yeah,
bro.
kinda.
You're right. Now, what's funny about that guy is, like, he's clearly in college and he's hitting on the girl, and like, we're supposed to root for him. Like, he's the good guy who's supposed to get the girl in the end. And I didn't realize that, no, his character's like 22 and she's like 17. So this relationship is a little gross. Okay, so Chris and Nicole go to Shane Powers' party where Shane and his friends Kyle, Eric, and John entertain themselves with the guests with total dude bro energy. Something that I thought was hilarious was like they would like stab each other and stuff because they're vampires, they're immortal. So like one of them like eviscerates the other and his guts spill out. He's like, oh man, come on, I need those. So I was like, all right, this very dude bro frat boy energy, except they're vampires.
It's like vampire jackass. You know
They're
what I'm saying?
super annoying.
Yeah.
They are super, super annoying. And so, Chris and Nicole decide to split up. Chris ends up like hooking up with Lisa, who's this hottie, and they like immediately go straight to the shower.
This went straight Skinamax, but no nudity.
But no nudity. Yet it's an R-rated straight-to-video sequel.
It felt very Skinamax, quality movie.
I agree.
But no nudity.
I was definitely expecting it just because it's a straight-to-video sequel, but no nudity.
It already amped the gore up, so I'm like, all right, well, they're going to amp the sex up.
Yes, but no, so they go, but then he hears like yelling outside, and he's like, oh, I need to go check on my sister, and then he gets very mad because he sees his sister flirting with the vampires, and at the time I was like, well, you're a hypocrite, dude. You were literally just in the shower with some random chick, and like she's just hanging out with a vampire, which they don't know is a vampire.
In the shower.
Yeah, well, she didn't go to the shower.
No, he did.
Yeah, straight to the shower.
That's a random place to have sex for the first time, is a shower.
I don't know.
Has anybody here at this table ever had sex with somebody the first time in a shower?
That's a no.
Yeah, me too. If that's happened to you, please leave that in the comments. We'll give you a shout out in the next show. Mad props.
We'll give you a congratulations to the next
I'm sure
episode.
Brian has something in his room that he can give you as a gift.
Parting gift. Okay, so now at this party, Angus, the vampire, what's his name?
I like Angus.
We'll stick with Angus. Whatever. Angus Sutherland pulls the chick into his room and gives her what he says is alcohol, but of course it's his own vampire blood, because that is the first stage, as you mentioned earlier, right?
The two-step verification.
The two-step verification. First, you must introduce vampire blood into someone, and then they must feed on someone else, and then that seals the deal. So
is this pre-roofie or post? I don't know.
Well, no, the vampire blood acts as a roofie. Oh, you're asking, did roofie?
Yeah, are we willing to, say that, vampires are kind of like, out of line for this? Giving people drinks that are really what they're expecting,
Yes. They are 100% cosbying this chick.
Gotcha.
Vampire blood. It's not at all appropriate. There's no consent here. So he gives her the vampire blood and then takes her on a motorcycle ride. They come back, and then of course Chris is angry with his sister. How dare you go off with this dude while I'm banging someone?
How dare you?
Yeah, I was like, where was that
disrespectful?
outrage from this guy just banging a stranger in the shower?
When I first watched this movie, I really didn't pick up they were brother and sister at the time.
They definitely have a vibe.
They got a chemistry, I think, between them in this movie that's kind of like, all right, this ain't the traditional brother and sister that we think of, They're really overprotective.
Yeah, really jealous of her with any other man.
You ever had that one dude that you might have grown up with or went to school with that's really overprotective?
Before you even finish the story, I can tell the answer is going to be no. But you grew up in Kentucky, so continue.
No, Tennessee. We only go second cousins. In Kentucky, they go full cousins in Kentucky, dirty animals. In West Virginia, you go straight brothers and sisters. So it's not as bad. But still, in Tennessee, it's like you can do things with your second cousin, it's okay. All right, as long as you're in the state lines of Tennessee. All right?
I don't take that as legal advice.
No, that is 100% Morgan and Morgan, pound law. That's all. Pound your cousin. Second. Am I going to get, is Morgan going to come back to me? Please, Mr. Morgan, I have nothing but respect for you and your company. You're the greatest lawyer in the history of lawyers.
What's funny is no one outside of Orlando is going to get Morgan and Morgan.
No,
he's all over the place,
man.
man.
Multi-state.
Is he like Glenn Lerner?
He's international, man.
He's multi-state.
Morgan and Morgan for the people?
Yeah.
Maybe
you've seen billboards in South Carolina.
He's all over. He's for the people, like the Constitution.
He's for the people.
Law, that's all.
Pound law, that's all. All right, let's get back to Morgan. Morgan has nothing to do with Lost Boys 2.
Hey, if you got
Rusty
sponsor though that calls melanoma, call John Morgan. There's a free plug. Can we?
It's mesothelioma.
Yes, mesothelioma. Sounds like a 2 Live Crew song. Who thought of this name for this?
Yeah, so they leave the party. He's mad that she ran off with the vampire. That's when, of course, the Lebowski line comes in as they're walking away. Stay out of Malibu, Lebowski. Which I was like, did this movie suddenly remember it's a comedy? Because I'll be honest, not only is this movie not funny, but there aren't even attempting jokes. There's not a lot of jokes in this movie. And I'm not talking bad jokes. I'm just saying there's not very many jokes.
Yeah, there's not really any humor. Yeah, it's a very kind of muted color. I don't know if it's because the early days of video, but yeah, it's just kind of this muted.
Right.
color. It's
We're also in
it's
the
not
jackass
funny.
zone at that time.
No, yeah, it's not funny.
No, it does not
The actors are
read.
bland.
The
It's
actors are
bland.
incredibly bland.
You got
One note characters.
You got poor man James Marsden.
Oh yeah, we should mention that the
Yes.
Chris Emerson, played by Tad Hilgenbrink.
You got to work on that Hollywood name, bro.
Yeah, I
Tad
guess.
Hilgenbrink looks just like a Walmart James Marsden.
Yeah, to the point where I looked up his IMDb, and he was in the movie Superhero Movie, which is the spoof. There was Date Movie,
Right.
Epic Movie, and Superhero Movie, and he played Cyclops. So he
Played
literally
by James Marsden. Yeah.
So,
They
yeah,
cast
so-
him to be
yeah.
James Marsden.
So yeah, that's what I thought when I watched. I was like, yeah.
I think he also
Dollar
played
Store James
Cyclops
Marsden.
in the Triple X-Men, the porn version.
Wouldn't know.
I've seen it. It's pretty good. All right. Gene Lay. Think about it.
Woo! All right,
So it's bland. It's garbage.
So now we are coming up to a scene that's actually kind of cool. And that is, so they go back to their little, house, shack, basically, that they're renting from their aunt. And they're talking. And then Lisa, the girl from the shower, shows up because she wants to seal the deal. Apparently, she lured him into the shower, not just for the sex, but for the bitey.
Yeah.
She did not get to consummate that particular deal. So she goes full vampire on him. And as they're wrestling, he throws her into the antlers that are mounted on the wall and she dissolves. So that's actually a cool little moment.
Like we should have brought, if they were wrestling, we should have brought in that one wrestling meme where he goes, "Oh my God." You know what I'm talking about? Like the guy that announces wrestling.
Yeah, the plot of this movie sucks, so we're struggling to keep up with it. But yeah, so it was shortly after she attempts to eat Fallout Boy that Shane uses his vampire power to draw her to his lair where they bang. So Corey Feldman tells Chris, in order to save your sister, we've got to kill the head vampire dude, which is Angus.
Yeah.
But in order to kill him, we got to find his lair because that's where he's vulnerable. We can't just attack him out in the open. We got to go find where his lair is and attack him in his lair because that's where he's going to be weak. If we do that before your sister feeds, we have a chance to save her. Otherwise, I got to kill her. And he's like, okay, deal. So then he goes, all right, I'm going to go undercover. I'm going to be undercover vampire. I'm going to because Angus keeps, trying to seduce Chris to the dark side as well because, surfer bros respect surfer.
Throwing out.
He's like, bro, come on, man. You were in the pro circuit. You should be a vampire. And so that's when Chris launches the plan with Edgar Frog. He's like, look, I'm going to drink the blood, but I'm not going to eat anybody. And then that's going to be how I'm going to find out where this lair is. And then together we'll go and kill Angus and rescue my sister before she can turn. So there's a scene where, he hooks up, he drinks the blood, and then they go on like a little rampage where they're like motorcycling in front of the police station and like the cops, chase them and they're being all vampires or whatever. It's like, it's really weird because it's like, wait, I thought you guys were surfers, but now you're on bikes or whatever. So they taunt the police. He takes the blood. And then in what is a fairly decent scene, they know that they've got to get him to feed to make the transformation complete. So he goes out with the other dude bro vampires, not Angus, because Angus is busy banging his sister. But they go out and they got these little surfer chick girls and they start getting ready to feed on them. But Chris stops them from feeding on the surfer girls. And that's when they're like, oh crap, he's not really one of us. And then he ends up staking one of the vampires, right? He stakes one of the vampires in this scene, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he does.
Yeah. Right, because yes. So he kills John the vampire with a stick in self-defense. Edgar joins him, and then they go into the lair because by that point they've figured out what's up. Chris impales Eric with a large drill, and Edgar kills Kyle by making his head explode with a holy water balloon, which is also right out of Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah.
Like that vampire death is right out of Dusk Till Dawn. So,
well, they obviously recycled a lot of deaths from other vampire movies in this.
yes, that is true.
The antlers, the
Antler is Dusk Till
water
Balloon, which was an awesome death when we first saw it. Even in Dusk Till Dawn, they've got that stake machine.
Oh,
It's
yeah, that thing was awesome.
Jackhammer. They even had a drill similar to that, and that's how Chris drills the one vampire. So you're right. The deaths were very derivative. As they go to the lair, they kill these guys off. Now they find Nicole, and Angus has found Fallout Boy, has tied him up and is trying to tempt Nicole to eat Fallout Boy because this is her moment to turn. But they show up and they stake Angus, or I'm sorry, they decapitate him with a sword, and that breaks the spell, and everybody's fine. And then Edgar makes a joke saying, "Oh, I'm going to bill you for my services, waka waka." And then Fallout Boy uses this opportunity to ask Nicole out on a date, which is very creepy. Then they get home and their aunt confronts them saying, "Oh, what are you kids? I know you're doing drugs. Look at you out all night and you're covered in blood. You must be potheads." And then credits roll. The plot is very weak.
Yeah, and very derivative of just the original, just kind of.
Very much that, yeah, kid moves to a new town.
Yeah, we have, instead of brothers, sister, but yeah,
Right.
new town.
The family relationship, I've got to rescue someone from becoming a vampire before it's too late by tracking down the head vampire and killing him. I mean, I can see why Warner Brothers initially turned their nose up at it, going like, well, you just recreated Lost Boys here. You just put in werewolves and they surf instead of vampires who ride bikes. But, like I said, then they went back to the well and were like, oh, wait, let's just do this. And then greenlit it. And then, of course, in a mid-credits Marvel movie-esque scene, Edgar Frog encounters Sam Emerson, who is Corey Haim, right? And he's now a vampire. They exchange some dialogue, and then they charge at each other like they're going to fight. And then the credits continue. We don't even see what happens next. And that is the plot that is very hard to follow, even for three of us that watched the movie of Lost Boys 2. It's both very simple and very confusing at the same time. Because there are moments where you're like, wait, why are they doing that now? Not very logical. Now, this project actually did produce a follow-up sequel, Lost Boys 3. And David, you actually took the extra credit assignment of watching Lost Boys 3.
I did, and I enjoyed it. It is fun.
I wish we would have watched Lost Boys 3 for this assignment.
Yeah, dude.
Lost Boys 2 is just boring.
It's yeah, I don't recommend 2. It's boring, it's terrible. 3 is fun. Like, it's a fun watch because now Edgar is the main character.
Right.
Whereas he's not in the first one, and then once again, he's playing, second fiddle to poor man's James Marsden, who then, he then comes along. Whereas the focus is, Edgar Frog.
And he's now reunited with his other frog brother, right? Because the two frog brothers in the first one. And doesn't the other frog brother come back or no?
He does, but he's a vampire. But he's in the first step vampire, and he feeds off animals.
Got it.
And they have a scene, and that dude is acting. Like, there's some acting going on. I was like, oh, that's a good scene. Of him as a vampire and, their struggled relationship they have. But, dude, the movie opens up in Washington, D.C., and the Frog Brothers are storming the Capitol. They're in the Capitol.
They were storming the Capitol before that was a thing.
Yeah, before that's the thing, it shows Washington, D.C., and it's the other murder capital of the world. And I was like, yes, I am on board with this movie from frame one. And it's a senator. Yeah, there's like a congressman and senator, and there's bodyguards. And this old senator, he has fangs, but they're dentures, and he puts them in, and he's gonna feed on this congressman, and then literally the Frog Brothers come busting through the door of this office, and they slay the dudes, and they save the congressman.
So it's basically like what QAnon believes is happening in Hollywood.
In real life is what this.
Dramatized.
So they were like, this is a documentary? Cool. So that's the opening scene, and then the Alan Frog gets bit, and then that's where we learn that, he's half vampire,
right?
Not fully, but it has there's a rave involved. Like, the head is this DJ.
Oh right, yeah. Like, it brings in rave culture, and isn't it like basically instead of like ecstasy, it's vampire blood and
and like how he kind of gets brought into this world for this movie is so there's a popular author, this woman, they're kind of, I think, riffing on Twilight. She's the popular vampire author.
Yes, and this would have been right around the time when Twilight was blowing up.
And she's like, goes to Edgar, and she's like, oh, my brother's been kidnapped, and he's the head vampire. So, if you rescue my brother and you kill him, then, your brother will be saved, and all these people will be saved. And then there's a reality star guy they get involved. Like,
This feels very 2010.
yeah, dude, it's fun. It's a fun movie. He's got cool gadgets. Because he goes to the congressman. He's like, "You owe me a favor," and the congressman has all these cool weapons. And
That's not how Congress works, but okay.
yeah, yeah. So then they got funded from the Department of Defense and stuff. And yeah, so he has all this, and he has cool one-liners. There's fun. There's a moment where he's like, "Holy water," more like "holy slaughter," and it's like, it's great. And then there's a death where he like cuts a water pipeline and he's spraying the water with the guy, and then he blesses the water and he's like, "I got my preacher license," or whatever.
Very nice.
So so he blessed water as it's on this guy, and then that vampire dies.
Nice.
It's fun, dude.
Well, I feel terrible we didn't do that movie for this one. Because look, we conclude each one of these questions by asking, would we recommend this movie? And the answer, I think, is unanimously no.
Oh, no.
It's just boring. It's not a good hate watch like Look What Happened to Rosemary's Baby. Which I stand by is an excellent hate watch. It's just, it's boring. It's incredibly derivative of the first one without adding anything new to it. The actors have just no, presence, no chemistry really. Whereas the first movie had all these great actors with great screen presence.
Yeah, so I feel like Jason Patrick should have been a bigger star than he was. Or was he for a minute? Because I feel like he should have been.
He's spotty, man. He's there, man.
He's a handsome man, good actor.
I agree.
Yeah, I thought he would have been bigger, but he didn't really.
Kind of failure to launch there, yeah.
And then was in Terrible Speed too, and
Oh, you're right. He's the dude from Speed too.
He replaced Keanu.
That's a sequel we will do on this show.
Yeah.
Mark my words. Do you have any ideas of what you might have done for a sequel instead of Lost Boys 2, Surfing Werewolves?
Yeah, I mean, they should have made this sequel a whole lot earlier because what's the time gap in this? Almost 20.
It was
20
yeah,
years, right?
To 08,
Yeah.
So
we got like a 20-year gap between Lost Boys, which is, and I mean, this is where
They're not
Hollywood,
boys anymore. They're lost middle-aged men.
Lost men, yeah. We're Kiefer's doing 24 this time, so
Yeah.
I mean, definitely. I mean, I think you got like a 3 to 5 year window to make a sequel, and to have it hit where people don't forget about it, have to go back and rewatch it, stays fresh in their memory. I mean, definitely they could have, looked into the Frog Brothers more in the second one. I mean, I think that would have been a great start because, the Frog Brothers were cool when it was, younger Corey Feldman and the other guy. And maybe bring in Haim, but
Of course.
have it as
And
a
that would have been
trio.
right in the two Corys zone. So, I mean, they were popular still at the time and making movies. So, yeah, you'd be bringing them back in that teen heartthrob zone.
Yeah, and maybe, because there's this whole thing about, Star and that little kid and all that stuff. You could have worked all kinds of cool stuff, and I like the prequel idea was amazing. So, I mean, there's other ways you could have gone with this. I like that prequel idea for the sequel, so yeah.
Actually, I don't got anything better than that. I think they just should have done that. Or whatever Lost Girls was supposed to be, because Schumacher really wanted to do something called The Lost Girls.
Yeah, which is
Lady
great.
vampires. Bringing it back to those lady vampires.
Love them.
I mean, honestly, I'm surprised there wasn't a Frog Brother centric sequel, considering the riot, how popular that the two Corys became.
Right.
Because what's funny is if you look on the original, Lost Boy poster, the red one, and it's got all these faces, Corey Feldman's not even on it. Like, he's not even on the poster. Like, the Frog Brothers aren't even on the poster.
Right.
And they're obviously, they were cool. Like, they're a fun addition to the film. So, I don't know why they didn't then, especially with them taking off like they did, going, oh, dude, well, why don't we do a spin-off with two Corys and the other dude? And have it where it's two Frog Brothers and Sam.
Yes.
And then, they could go off on, I was thinking maybe like a road trip almost, like a California up the California Highway, DCA. And they could have been where they're hunting vampire, or something like
it
that.
could have been as easy as, whoever the vampire's boss is. Right?
Yeah.
Like, there's a hierarchy here. So just go one more up.
Yeah, but
They're
'cause it's
wrong.
like in the MLM or
Yeah, it's the
whatever.
pyramid
That's,
scheme.
going to the next pyramid. Who's
That's right. I agree. So a sequel that is most definitely not equal, although I think I am going to see the third one now on your recommendation.
it's
Yeah,
worth
I'll
a
check it out
watch.
myself,
It's fun. It's worth a watch.
Sounds like fun. And that's all we got on this particular episode. Please join us next week for another sequel that is not equal. We'll see you then.